I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's not gonna work for me, and I had to personalize it.
Yeah.
And I remember I was at the court. I still woke up with a huge amount of anxiety. I still warmed up. Just an hour before I was supposed to go and play. I was just like, nah, I'm not able to do this.
Yeah.
I called the team doctor. I called the team therapist. I was just like, I don't see how, because I was just warming up and crying all the time. It's
Yeah.
like,
It's not gonna work.
it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And the tournament doctor got involved. They asked all this question, and everyone's just like, we understand.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Old Rounders podcast. We're back with another episode, and this one is a blockbuster. Nonza, how are you first?
You are good, Baba.
Eh.
See, Akren. Do you know what I love about this time of the year?
Yes.
There's no more excuse for us not to have more podcasts.
Cricket season is over.
Hey.
No other commitments. It's just us and the All Rounders podcast.
We're gonna be
back to
someone
back
about
to
wire.
back. Yes. Nons, look, this next guest name, I need to read out the full array of achievements because it's a long list and I don't want to miss anything. At the risk of undermining the achievements that she's achieved. Okay? Our next guest. She is a semi-finalist in the Australian Open in 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2024. In the French Open, she's also a semi-finalist in 2013, 2021, and 2022. Wimbledon. Wimbledon. Shama Zandla labo for the Wimbledon. Shama Zandla for the Wimbledon.
Papa Charles.
The first ever black South African to win a Wimbledon title in 2024. US Open, a semi-finalist in 2018. So many Masters championships under her belt. Paralympic Games in 2012, 2016, and 2020. Wins in the French Open in 2023. But also the US Open title in 2023. I can go on and on
And
so forth and henceforth. But ladies and gentlemen, it gives us great pleasure, to welcome the one, the only Kgothatso Montjane. KG, you know what? I think I felt like I under-mentioned some of those things.
Well, like you said, if you start mentioning or reading all of it, we
We'll
might
be here the whole
we
day.
might be here the whole day waiting for you to finish.
It's a lot.
Yeah, but you touch on the most important ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. I mean, the rest, I think Google will help you.
Yes.
If not Wikipedia.
Yes. KG, I mean, your story's been told so many times. You've told it so many times. I don't get bored of hearing it because it's such an inspirational story. I want to go back to it and maybe we can relive it one more time together on this platform, just to be able to give the viewers how special of a journey that you've traveled, how difficult it is, how privileged it is at times, but also how rewarding it has been. I mean, we mentioned Wimbledon titles, US Open titles, but it all goes back to where you grew up. How was growing up for KG Montjane?
Oh, look. Well, hello everyone and the viewers.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm someone who was born with disability.
Yeah.
Obviously, that on its own, it's being seen as a big challenge, in life.
Yeah.
And obviously, growing up in the rural areas, trying to go to a mainstream school, which it was quite far, couldn't walk that far until, my mom, found a school for people with disabilities. That's where I was able to, start my preschool, get into primary and secondary. So it offered all that. And yeah, for me, for the fact that they found an environment that I can actually grow up
Yeah.
in. That's what actually played a massive role in my life.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, because when you are born with disability, honestly, you don't really know until you grow up that you're actually different.
Yeah.
You know, because I normally hear people being like, you know, I was discriminated and all that. And I'm just like, as a young kid, you can see how people behave,
Yes.
but because you are young, you can't
Doesn't
actually, you know,
doesn't
conceptualize
register.
it or understand it until
Yeah.
you grow up that, oh, actually, you know, maybe I was too slow for them, you know, maybe because I couldn't run better and stuff like that. But as a young kid, all those things, they don't really affect you in a way because you don't understand.
Yes.
You know, so for me, obviously growing up, I was playing in the streets with everyone else when they did that because I couldn't understand. That didn't stop me from going back to the street, you know. But yeah, I'm just grateful for that particular school that I went to because when I get there, actually realizing that, oh, actually that's when I realized that I'm different.
Yeah.
Because someone is in a wheelchair, someone is in crutches. I'm like, oh, I start looking at myself. Okay, I'm also, you know, different. Realizing that everyone is unique, and then in that particular environment, I just found it as a, you know, great positive environment for me to grow up in. Because having to see what other kids can do with whatever disabilities that they had, you know, it had to, you know, get to me to be like, what's your excuse? You know, so quite a positive environment to be in, and yeah, quite inspiring and motivating for me to be in. And yeah, obviously as I was growing up, you know, we were being seen by different doctors, and that's how I got to be amputated, because I was limping quite a lot as a kid. So obviously with lack of technology by then, whatever doctor's advice you get, my mom went with it. And yeah, was put on a prosthetic leg, could walk better, could run better now. And yeah, when I was, I think 12, then I was recruited to come and play sport at school. So that's where my sport career actually started. But for me, because I was in boarding school, you know, you get a lot of bullies around. And for me, when I joined sport, it was just kind of like a getaway for me to stay away from the bullies. It wasn't that I'm going to play sport because I love playing sport. Honestly, at the beginning, it was just
place of peace.
It's an outlet.
Get away from the bullies. You know, you spend most hours there. You know, when you come back, you go to studies, you go for supper, the day is done. So for me, that's how I was using sport. And yeah, obviously in the midst of it, I grew to realize that you know, I'm enjoying it. And I was keeping fit, and it improved even how I used to walk, you know, because I was quite active, mostly when we did athletics. So it I just saw the benefit of it, and I just sort of hung around. And also at school, I was doing quite a lot of things. You know, I would do ballroom dance, I would do aerobics, school choir. I mean, I don't know how I was singing, because I'm like, I don't even have the voice, but you know what? Anything to stay away from the bullies. That's what I did at school. So I sort of, you know, engaged myself in so many activities. Until I was in matric, and then tennis was there. So I was forced to play tennis. I didn't know what was it, but yeah, you know, I was forced to play tennis. And yeah.
Who forced you? Because when you look at rural Limpopo, I don't think people understand what a tennis racket is.
No. Let alone how a tennis court looks like.
Exactly.
You know, a tennis ball, it was just that one thing your grandpa brings it back from, you know, Joburg or Pretoria. Or Mahwe, you know, used to be that. And we're playing with it in the street. That's what that was, a tennis ball was meant for. That people are playing a sport called tennis. And for us, that thing, it was just a ball.
Can be used for cricket.
You can use it for cricket.
Soccer.
You can kick it
Party,
around.
Chicago, whatever. All those games we used to play in the street. That was what we used to use that ball for. And when tennis came, honestly, as a grade 12 learner by then, I just felt like, nah, man, I have so much on my plate. I don't want to do this. I'm in matric, I need to pass, I need to study. But it wasn't a question.
Yeah.
They were like, you are going to choose one other person.
Yeah.
You are going to represent the school in tennis. I tried to be like, yeah, but say I don't play tennis. Hey, plus he found me, I was in the computer room. I loved that because we were just introduced to computers. I was just like,
first generation internet.
He's wasting my time in my head. I'm like, no, Sarah. I was like, oh, since when you talk back to your elders, that's when I knew that, it's chai. I had to give in. And that was in 2005. And so I had to, go try, wheelchair tennis.
Yeah.
And obviously in my head, I was like, whatever. This is my last year. I don't have to do this thing in the next year. So you might as well just nip it in the bud and do it. And I went and tried it, and everyone's like, you can play. I was just so unbothered about it, to be honest. Just like, can the year end so I can play
this thing.
we didn't even have a tennis court at the school. We used to play in the school hall. We divide the entire hall with chairs, so one can be on the other. Come on.
Wow.
You're just
proper
like,
humble beginning.
after they took you to see what a real tennis court is like, and you come back, and now
You're like, I have to be in this hall.
and now you're like, you're improvising, but at the same time,
You're selling it to me.
deep down, you're like, I don't even want to do this. Why we even, why we even doing this? So it was never love at first sight, to be honest. Until I got to university, to be honest. I went to University of Venda to study a BSc in Recreation and Leisure Studies, which is almost like sports management. So after classes, I wanted something that I can actually do. So wheelchair tennis was there. But then I was like, it's okay. It can be a hobby.
Nothing serious.
I don't know anything. I didn't know anything about wheelchair tennis. All I knew is like, just have to play the ball over the net, keep it in the court, how to count the score. Those are things I knew, actually. Even when I went for my first tournament, and they're like, you are playing the best of 3 tiebreaker set. I thought we have to play the whole full 3. I played the full 3 sets. I won the first 2 sets, which that's where the match would have
finished.
But I guess even my opponent didn't know that, because we played full 3 sets. You see, that's how much I didn't know.
But you were winning.
Yeah, but I won my first tournament. I remember when I went, I was still in matric, and the teacher was responsible for tennis. Actually, before I write, after writing my final physics paper, she actually transported me like a package to go play a tournament. I'm not lying to you, because her husband picked me up from the school gate. He put me in town where the courier guy
came to fetch you.
The courier guy took me and dropped me at McDonald's in Hatfield in Pretoria. That's where I was picked up, and when I got there, I think I had missed the first day of the tournament. I had to like catch up. But at the end of the day, I win, and then they give me 600 rand. I'm like,
okay.
It's a lot of money then.
I thought we're only winning, from athletics, we're winning medals. When I play table tennis, we win medals. And I'm here, I'm like,
Winning
and this
money.
one, why are we winning money? So I think also when I got to university, I was like, I might just play it as a hobby. And then there were tournaments also. We enjoyed those trips, because when we leave university with all the requisitions, they make sure we get the money to eat. It's like,
this is well looked after. No?
This is cool. I'm studying sports. It's even easier when you leave, they understand. I'm just like, I must just hang back and enjoy this thing while I'm studying, and obviously playing tournaments locally and starting to win now from 600 rand, it become 1,000 rand. You're like, guys, let's just play tennis. So it was a big deal for us while we were at university, that we doing this and we're just gonna get the money. And I remember there used to be like 4 tournaments locally, and Yeah, man, that's how it was.
Yeah.
But to know that this thing can be a career,
Never.
it goes beyond South Africa.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
Never thought of it.
No, even though, well, my first day at university, they took us to go play in Holland. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we get there, people are, playing so nice.
Yeah.
Hey, we were so bad, man. We were so bad that we lost. We played consolations and we won. We thought we won the tournament. No, it was just a backdraw.
Yes.
Because after winning consolations, they give you a trophy,
But it's not the main.
we didn't know.
You won.
We cared.
You
We
won.
cared. We won, and we came back with the trophies. And I mean, it's written there, consolation draw. But even the universities not saying it's a back draw. They're so happy that we brought something back home. And you know what? I think, but our main thing at university was just to finish the studies and be like any other kid who wants to complete the studies. And so that's what happened at the end of the day, completing studies, graduating, and now, they had to convince me to, when you are in your final year, after you written your thesis, waiting for the results, and now they be like, hey, we need to talk to you about tennis. You're like, hey, I'm filling up some Z83 forms
I
now.
need to go find a job. Yeah. I'm in the labor market now.
Yeah, and that's when back in the days, the job post used to be in the newspaper. Yeah.
Classified.
Yeah, we are there with the Z83 form. You're telling me I must come play. I must come. Yeah, because we keep convincing each other, no, government jobs.
Yeah.
So you see, that's where we were, Z83 and
Department of what?
yeah, sports, basically like Department of Sports, and we're like, hey, try tourism also since there's a leisure studies in there.
Yeah.
But hey, obviously back then, wheelchair tennis had to really sit me down, convince me to, no, come to Gauteng, try out the sport, gonna take care of you.
Yeah.
And when you get better, this is how your life's gonna be. I'm like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I need to talk to my mom about it.
Yeah.
And obviously when I go to my mom, I'm not saying, oh, they're saying this and this and this.
Yes.
I'm just, they'll be like, yeah, I'm going to play tennis and this is how my life is going to be. So now I'm convincing her to actually
say yes.
Yeah, let me go play. And it's just like, whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
And there I was, moved to Gauteng.
Your story is so amazing because Upila started nice with all your accolades, but it sounds like it was so forced, but yet you achieved so much success and greatness with it. But I just quickly want to go back to, you started before you having your leg amputated, right? And there was a young child that knew yourself in a certain way. And then now having to deal with what just happened to you, and now still saying, I'm still seeing myself in this light. I'm still, even though there's things that have happened to me, yet I'm fine. I mean, how hard or challenging was that phase of your life where you had to deal with those, just the process that you went through?
Yeah, honestly, like I said, you are born with disability, it's your normal. That's the only thing that you know.
Yeah.
And when I went for amputation, it didn't come as some sort of a surprise that, oh, now my leg is being amputated. At school, it was some sort of a norm that, those who were born with club foot or club feet, they will go, their time to go for surgery. So it wasn't like a sort of a surprise when it was my turn to go for surgery or something like that, So it was almost like, you just don't know when it's going to be your turn that you are going for surgery and stuff like that. So that's how the school used to be back in the past. So because it was a school for people with physical disability, it didn't affect me in any way. I didn't, mentally, I didn't feel like my life have changed in a different way where I have to adapt. Remember, I was born with disability. It has always been
part of who you
it's my normal. That's what I know, So it wasn't a shock or a moment of depression. It's not the same as someone who
starts
who used to walk and have a
Yeah.
normal life, and they get into an
Yeah.
accident, and now they have to
Adjust.
adapt. So it's not the same thing, you know. And also, if you look or you've interacted with such people, someone who was born with disability and someone who was hijacked by disability along the way, they think differently, because the other one has to adapt, and the other one, they've been like that their entire life.
Yeah.
Everything they see as normal, you know, and the other one needs to relearn to navigate life. So it didn't really affect me in a way. Actually, that environment actually helped me to, you know, to have a better self-esteem,
Yes.
develop a better confidence.
Yes.
By the time I left the school,
Yeah.
I didn't even feel like I was disabled,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I didn't even feel like that, because I felt like I was able to do almost everything for myself.
Yeah.
I also like saw a video clip where one of my sponsors was interviewing her, and then they sort of asked her that question: how did she feel? And she was just like, it was something special. I realized that she was a special child, you know. And I, for one, we never had that conversation
Yes.
where I wanted to know,
Yes.
how did it make you feel? Because I just think she just had the courage to just put me out there, because I saw it by my siblings.
Yeah.
None of them, as we grew up, ever asked me, why are you the way you are?
Yeah.
Why are your fingers like this?
Yeah.
Why are your legs like that?
Yeah.
So that's one thing that really showed me that my mom has done a really good job with this situation.
Yeah.
That even my siblings, they see me for who I am. They don't really see that I'm different from them. But I can imagine how difficult it was for her back in the day, because it was a taboo.
Yes.
Because I remember when my grandfather passed, I think in 1999, some of the people, when they came to the funeral, they were like, oh, where's that kid with disability? You know, they were asking things like that, because now I was on a prosthetic leg, so they couldn't really pick it up. So I was just like, yo, it must have been tough for her when everyone kept saying, yo, and stuff like that. But I just think she handled it so well. And she never really seemed bothered by it, because she never really, you know, hit me. I was just out there playing with the others. So,
you can choose to answer the question or not, because I know it might be a very sensitive one. Losing your mother. I think you were in the middle of the Olympics, if I'm not mistaken.
Just before.
Just before.
Yeah.
How difficult was that?
It was tough, because I had just came back from Wimbledon, man.
Yeah.
We're there celebrating a week and a half down the line. It happens, and I'm thinking, there's just few weeks left. I have to go to Paris.
Yeah.
It was tough, because I wasn't so sure if I should go, if I shouldn't. But I was just not into it. But I still went to Paris, and I played my first match in doubles. But I could feel that I'm not here. I'm not here. I need to be honest with myself. And at the end of the day, you know, I really had to be honest with myself. Have to make a decision. I was in the right mental state, so I had to pull out of the whole thing, and just to come back and make sure that I take care of my mental health. Because as an athlete, if you don't have a good mental state, there's no way you're going to perform the way you used to perform, you know. So it was tough, but it has to be done. It's unfortunate that at that moment I felt like I was letting, you know, my sponsors down, you know, everyone who supported me. But at the end of the day, without a healthy mind, I cannot give it 100%, and I had to step back and face the reality.
The weight of making that decision, because I mean, it's not like it's in a team sport. You've got other people that can easily just, now it's about you and make it. I mean, again, is that something that comes easy, where you're saying, I'm not good, this is my life, and this is the decision that I'm making now? I mean, was that that process where you're telling other people, this is where I am, and again, the sponsors, and obviously there could be consequences there.
Yeah, I mean, I had to really personalize it because I was the one experiencing it.
Yeah.
You know, everyone could be like, I mean, everyone was sort of like, you can use this
As a
you know, to really push yourself. I mean, it was fresh. I mean, when I had to go play my first singles match, that's when it marked a month. You know, and just a month since she passed, but you know, a couple of days since we buried her.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
yeah.
it's not gonna work for me, and I had to personalize it.
Yeah.
And I remember I was at the court. I still woke up with a huge amount of anxiety. I still warmed up. Just an hour before I was supposed to go and play. I was just like, nah. I'm not able to do this.
Yeah.
I called the team doctor. I called the team therapist. I was just like, I don't see how. Because I was just warming up and crying all the time. I was just like,
It's not gonna work.
it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And the tournament doctor got involved. You know, they asked all this question, and everyone's just like, you know, we understand.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I mean, my sponsors really understood.
Yeah.
The wound was still fresh.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think I still proved myself that I went and played that doubles match. We were losing.
Yeah.
And I remember I wasn't really into it, but you know, something was just like, you need to communicate better with your partner.
Yes.
So, because it was hitting me that I know these people, beat them all the time.
Yes.
Am I even losing to them right now?
Yes.
You know, and just to have the courage to actually lift myself and be a team player and then still win that match.
Yeah.
You know, but it was just at that moment where I knew, but you know, it had to be done because honestly, without a healthy mind as an athlete, it's difficult to achieve anything. You know, and my life had changed. It's a new norm.
Yep.
And for me to quickly think I can be a heroine and just get back into it, I know I'm a resilient person, but by then I was just like, you're not being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Growing up and also being part of sport, we're always being taught not to show weakness, right? And it's important, and we're seeing it more and more in recent times now. Mental health, a lot of athletes now say, I'm not feeling good, right?
Yeah.
How important is that change being in a sports environment where people are actually saying, you know what, I'm actually stepping away from my sport right now. I'm not feeling good. Because now it's being normalized, and obviously people who also have achieved so much success like yourself can and still at point in their lives and say, you know what, I'm not good. And maybe other people can also say, it's okay for me not to be fine as well.
Yeah, I think you just need to have a courage, man. People think as athletes we are superhuman. You know, you are in sport. You exercise every day. You have a strong mind. You know, it's at the end of the day we are human. You know, we are human. We might have the ability to deal with pressure simply because it's just part of what we do.
Yeah.
You know, but when it hits you on that personal level, and it's a different kind of pressure. I mean, when you lose someone close to you, it's not the same as when you prepare for a match that you know I have to win it.
Yeah.
That's a different kind of a pressure because in that particular moment you keep challenging your mind.
Yep.
But when you lose someone, it never happened to you before.
Yeah.
So how do you go over that hurdle if it has never happened to you before? So it's quite difficult. As a person, you need to be really honest with yourself when it comes to your mental health.
Yeah.
You know. We know that as athletes, it involves a lot. You could lose sponsors, but sponsors also need to understand that without a healthy mind, there's zero performance or there's limited performance.
Yeah, and you're also human.
Yes, and so it's important to just, you know, come back to the drawing board, you know, get yourself better. And I mean, you know, it's always good to start over, actually. It's not that bad. You can only, mostly if you've done it for so many years, starting over, it's not a problem. It's like change, man. It's like when you change, get to be in a different environment, work with a different coach, you adapt. As an athlete, you always adapt. It's like playing in different conditions, different surfaces. That's adaptation. So, but you just have to be honest with yourself that I'm willing to start over.
I rattled out the list of achievements from your career, but obviously the three big ones are those titles. I mean, first ever South African to win a Wimbledon title. How can you equate that feeling? How can you express it, relive it, retell it, go back to, center court, being there, winning a title? How did it feel like for Kgothatso Montjane?
Jeez, I mean, obviously, at that particular moment, that's where you want it to be. You know, at that particular moment, you're winning it, and in your head, you're just like, oh, it's finally done.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a champion.
Yeah.
But with me, I always find it to be a bitter sweet one.
Yeah.
You know, because when you're one person who you are first of many things.
Yes.
You know, you're the first one to do this. You're the first one to do this.
Yes.
At the same time, you're like, I want to celebrate because I'm the first one to do this. But at the same time, you're like, yeah, but what happened to people behind me?
Yeah.
Why am I the first one? Like, how is this thing going, or how has it been going? You know, at the same time as you want to take so much pride and joy in it. Sometimes I find it's not so nice.
Yeah.
Because just because you're the first one, the amount of pressure is coming with, but also at the same time, I'm like, maybe we are going somewhere as a country.
Yes.
You're trying to, create the balance. But for me, I've never found it easy to just be like, yes, I'm the first one to do this.
Yes.
I can,
That's not what drives you.
in the streets, it was like, it's me, KG. No. It's so difficult for me to comprehend it in that particular way. So it's always a bittersweet one. I'm just like, it's good for my career. Also looking at the challenges that it comes with, how difficult it is just to get there and be able to even win it. It's a bittersweet one because I'm just like, I want to be happy, but I still need sponsors. I still need support. I still need to add something to my team. You just like at that particular moment where everyone is happy and you just like be happy, and then like, back to the drawing board, kind of. So
start again.
It's just not one thing that I carry it. It's good for my profile.
Yes.
It's good for my profile, but I feel like I have a lot of work and responsibilities, to bring change, and come into this sport, when you're the only black female doing it in your country at this level. I don't know. It's so worrying. It's so worrying. I picked up the racket late. I'm looking at my age now. I'm looking at behind me. I'm just like, how do you even celebrate when you don't even see the next kg? It's really a bittersweet one, to be honest.
You spoke about adapting to different surfaces and conditions. You've got 3 titles on 3 different surfaces. French Open, clay court. Wimbledon, grass court. US Open, hard court. Does that make you feel like an accomplished tennis player when you look at all of those achievements?
Rounded game.
Well, I really want to be like, yes, but nah, not yet. Because I feel like in tennis, I haven't really achieved what I want to achieve.
What is it that KG?
I still need to win the singles Grand Slam. For me, without a singles Grand Slam, I just feel like my story is not, it's not complete. I really hope it happens, but if it doesn't happen, like you said, I've done it. At the end of the day, I'm a Grand Slam champion, but I'm just like, there's this thing that I still wanna, just history one more time, because who's gonna do it? Who's gonna do it before me? To be honest, who's gonna do it before me?
It has to be KG.
No one's gonna do it before me. To be honest, so I'm just like, push yourself. Just get over that hurdle. One more time. A history moment. And maybe with that, maybe when I achieve, singles, a lot of kids who don't really think they can even play a sport like tennis, they will be so motivated to realize that it's possible, Because at the moment, to even encourage a kid to play tennis, when you think how expensive equipment is, but I just feel like I need a complete story to be like, you can do it.
Yeah.
You
Look
know,
at this.
This is what happened. You can do it. You know, there's no excuse. It doesn't matter which background you are from.
Yeah.
It can be done. But also, being at this level, always talking about sponsorship, also just to open South Africa up that if you do it for me, you can also invest in a new talent, you know. And if they get on that thing of, you know, investing into tennis, they can do it for others. And then it become a thing, you know. Not that sponsorships are meant for team sports only.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I can also just create that path. But when I win the singles Grand Slam, I feel like the story will be complete. Maybe as a country, we'll be in a better place to support like individual sports.
Yeah.
Pila kind of hopped in it a little bit where, if you haven't mentioned, what's your preference in terms of which, is it hard court, clay, grass in Wimbledon? Which one do you prefer? I'm pretty sure grass, there's no grass court in Limbo. I'm assuming.
Look, you know, tennis is quite a weird sport, you know. It's so weird that your game style suits a certain surface.
Yeah.
But yet, you still have to compete in all these surfaces.
Yes.
For me, I always feel like my favorite surface is a hard court because I feel like I can move better on a hard court.
Yeah.
And then, but when I play on grass, I feel like my game is more effective on grass, you know? And it could improve. If I played on grass most of the time, I feel like my game could actually improve drastically. And that's the surface that I feel like it suits my game. I think if I were to win a Grand Slam, I think I'm going to win it on grass because I think that's the surface that suits my game. So that's how complicated tennis is. Grass is not even my favorite surface.
Oh,
but
really?
No, it's not. But it suits my
style.
It suits my style of play. It suits my game. You know, most of my shots on grass, they work. You know, so on other surfaces like that adaptive, you have to. You know, on clay it bounces high. I hate, you know, all those bounces that goes on my head. But still, you still have to adjust, you know, and on hard court, I feel like I move better. I don't feel as stuck like I am on grass or on clay court. But still, my game style is not the best for hard court, you know, so it's just a weird game. Tennis is just a weird game. Like you adapt all the time, you know. But I just hope it doesn't matter. There's 3 Grand Slam in front of me right now.
That's all.
So I'm not gonna say grass or clay or hard court. Those surfaces are still left in a year. So
you've been someone who's broken barriers, right? And now when it comes to preparation, like you say, in South Africa, predominantly it might be hard court. I'm assuming. And now when it comes to those tournaments, in terms of your prep, how does that look like when you're about to go to a Wimbledon season or you're about to go to a French Open season? What do you need to get yourself there, or is there somewhere you can simulate whatever that you might be dealing with in South African conditions?
I would really love to go there prior. I give myself
extended time.
Extended time to prepare. But it's not a luxury. It's not a luxury for me. Whatever season that I'm going into, be a hard court, a clay court, my preparation starts here at home. To be honest, I prepare everything on a hard court, and what I do is just try to play a few warm-up tournaments on that particular surface before I get into the slam. So the challenge is, you know, I'm going to test myself if I'm already in a tournament. So that's how it happens. But you know what? It doesn't bother me because I have to use what I have, you know, and it honestly doesn't help me to sit back here at home and be like, yeah, but if I was playing on clay, I would be doing better. I mean, I'm from Africa.
Yeah.
What do I expect? What do I expect? Embrace your struggle, embrace your challenges, and do best with what you have. I think that's why we're such a resilient nation, because when you realize what your struggles are, you just sort of embrace them and just make the best of it. I wish I could do it like that, but like I'm saying, I prepare here. Whenever I go out, it's straight into a tournament, and the rest is history.
You spoke about sponsorships and hoping to get many others. One particular sort of sponsorship that stood by KG for quite a while now, I think it's Optima.
Optimize.
Optimize.
I mean, Optimize is actually my agency, you know.
Wow. Yeah.
Actually, Optimize is my agency, and how I met them. It was quite a story. Because when I first went to Wimbledon in 2018, I didn't have any sponsors, and there was no money. There was just no money, no support.
Nothing.
I remember that particular year, I wanted to go to Roland Garros, and there was no sponsors, there was no money, and I wrote Mrs. Mbeki, the former first lady. I wrote her email to be like,
please intervene. Please intervene.
I'm like, there's a president in a line. I'm sure, I was just like, please.
Make something happen.
And, I remember sending her quite a lot of emails. Why her? Simply because it's just one of the people that I used to see coming into our local tournaments to watch, and she used to just like drop me an email, be like, oh, I saw you did well, congratulations. Actually, so that email actually came handy in 2018. So, because I wrote to her, and she finally responded, gave me a couple of $1,000. Then I went to Roland Garros with it. And when I was at Roland Garros, that's when I found out that I got a wild card into Wimbledon. And I'm like, oh, shucks.
Hey, now I have to go back again.
I just... What's left?
Jeez, Did I spend it all on this one trip?
I'm like, 1 + 1. I'm like, anyway, with what's left, I can add with my prize money from Roland Garros, Add with that, I'm like, the coach will excuse me. One has to go, but it has to be a player.
Decision.
It has to be a player, and obviously, I made that decision to go to Wimbledon, left my coach behind, and I got onto the other side because I was already, getting along with some of the players. I was like, hey guys, can you hook me up with someone I can use to hit? And I mean, that's how it just happened. I'm there at Wimbledon. You know how I know you guys as journalists? And one is asking me, hey, KG, how's Wimbledon? I'm like, Wimbledon is it's like it's green, the vibe. And it's your first time at Wimbledon? I'm like, yeah, it's my first. It's like, how's the atmosphere? I'm like, oh, strawberry and cream.
Amazing.
Who are you with? I'm like, who am I with? At Wimbledon, I'm alone. I'm just thinking we're having just
That's
a
a
casual
normal conversation.
We check up on each other because we bump into each other in the streets always with this. With you guys, we see each other in the events, we exchange numbers. I'm just like,
Next thing, front page.
No, man, you're still saying front page. I mean, it's just like, so you travel? I'm like, the struggles, man. One had to go, so I had to make that decision. So I go play my first match. I win my first match at Wimbledon. South African media, it becomes a thing. Big. The first black South. I'm like, that particular day, my phone is buzzing. Twitter. Like, am I going to sleep tonight? I'm like, in the morning, I have a semi-final match to play. KG traveled alone to Wimbledon. She had to carry her bag, her wheelchairs. I'm like, oh my God.
It's gone.
This is not. It
It's
hasn't
gone
turned
somewhere
out.
else.
It hasn't turned out the way that I.
This took a turn, and I was like, I really felt like, jeez, I need to get back home. I need to do damage control. You know, but you know what? It was the truth.
Yes.
You know, I had no support. I had to go by myself. I had no one, and you know, there I was, Metro FM prime time with Lebo Mutswedi.
Yes.
What happened, KG? Yes, I'm there trying to be diplomatic. Damage control. Yeah, no sponsors there and there. You know, guys, you know how individual sport. Yeah, you know how wheelchair tennis. We just got into. I'm trying to explain, but hey, you know, when the host has the agenda.
It's not landing.
Her agenda was agendering. I'm like, hey, this one. No, I couldn't do a damage control. But anyway, South Africans were listening. You know, people were so happy for me. There were people who came forward to donate. You know, because I was gonna go to the US. You know, I think after a month or so. So people came through, wanted to pay for my US Open trip, and the following day, same show. I'm being called by the producer. I'll be like, stay on the line. Who was on the line? I mean, who was on the line by that time? Emika Seleti was on the line being interviewed. And I just hear like, yeah, Amy, you worked with Kaiser Chiefs, you worked with Bafana. So athletes like this, how do we help them? She was put on the spot. And she was put on the spot, and Lebo wanted the answer. And, you know, the answer was, you know, we will take KG, we will help her to package a sponsorship proposal. That was what was supposed to happen. But you know what? In the midst of that, they decided, we're just going to take you in, we're just going to take care of you. And since then, Optimize Agency, they've just been like, going out and looking for sponsors for me. And you know, their only question to me was like, KG, what do you want? I was just like, I just want to play tennis. And they've kept their word. They make sure that, you know,
look after you.
They got all these sponsors to make sure that I play tennis.
How does your team look like now that you've had a career that you've had thus far?
Look, it's still the bare minimum. We're dealing with the bare minimum, like I said. For me, it's not a big deal, but I think one thing that Optimize Agency did and proved is that when an athlete is supported, they can do better because they came on board. They brought sponsors. I got a new wheelchair. I got signed for a new racket equipment, and since then, I've been able to produce all these results. So. For me, it doesn't even matter who's on the team. But for me, it's what is working. You know, the more the money comes, the more we add. You know, because if you see what other people have out there, you'll be like, how are you even still in the top 10? With what you have, you know. But for me, that's not even a big deal. I'm just more focused on what works. When we get sponsors, I can actually add. Because I wish to travel with the coach full time. I wish to travel with the trainer full time. But, you know, a physiotherapist, I mean, people travel, they get massage every day, they recover every day, and you are like, hey, some roller every day after a match, you know.
On your own.
Sometimes you make a bad decision, you're like, maybe if I go to the pool, recover, the next thing the water made you tired. You know, so, I really wish I could have a full, complete team. But it's not a big deal, man, because what I've achieved with the bare minimum, you know, it really works. It really works. It's all in my head to make sure that I get the work done. Been doing it for years. Just have to be disciplined. Keep up the hard work. And if sponsors comes. You know, I am grateful. I can add where I lack. But I'm not gonna slow down and be like, I'm not performing because there are no.
I don't have this. I don't have that.
So I'm just trying to make the best of what I have.
Can I just quickly? We've had Donald here before. Donald Rampart. And somehow, obviously, there's these two athletes that are coming from Limpopo, right? And achieved so much. how important, sometimes they say there wouldn't be a Nadal without a Roger Federer.
Yeah.
Has there been any close proximity between your careers, or is it just happened by chance? Two people from Limpopo have achieved.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could say it like that, but obviously, Dons is in the quads division, not in the men's division.
Yeah.
We had quite a lot of good players from Limpopo. When we started, actually, a group that was dominating wheelchair tennis, it was a group from Limpopo. Evans Maripa, I don't know if you know him.
Yes.
Sidwell Matonzi.
Yes.
We were just a group of people from Limpopo, and they took us from there and they brought us to Gauteng because facilities and accessibility.
Yeah.
So those were the guys we were, but we all know Limpopo has a talent. Don't we know that?
Yeah.
Think of Casta.
Yeah.
Think of the late, was it the Rana Mulaudzi?
Yeah, Mbulayin.
Now, Prudence. Where's she from?
Yeah. Limpopo. Footballers as well. So many.
Why is Chiefs home ground in? They might not be doing well, but why is there other home ground in? I don't know. I don't know. I'm a proud Limpopian. I might have made a decision to be living in Gauteng.
Yes.
But I'm still very much a proud Limpopian, and I just hope in future I'll be able to also, pay it back home, and because I know where they got us, that's where the talent is. And I know even for me, to get the next me, we need to go into those areas. If not in Limpopo, but I almost think I know where
those type of
where you're going to get that talent, because that's not where they look in Gauteng. There's here they're looking at private schools.
No raw material.
No raw material. Pure talent. I know where pure talent is. All we see here, it's just like hard work. Hard work to make it. But I mean, it's quite amazing to know how talented Limpopo is. So
I'm just thinking of some of the footballers that come from Limpopo. I mean, they're scattered all over every PSL team. I'm trying to think back then, guys like
he's been sticking out of here.
He
was here. He was also
here.
He was also here.
Back in the day, Leslie Manyatera, Rudzani Ramudzuli. There's so many that have been scattered all over.
Who's this Pirates analyst now? I mean, was it?
They're bold.
So you think of it, Limpopo is talented. I mean, Limpopo is talented, and we come and make Gauteng looks good, and then Gauteng becomes home of champions. No, they're not claiming us. We come and make it a home of champions.
KG Rabada.
Actually.
KG Rabada.
Yes, the cricketer. So if you think about it, we come and make Gauteng,
KG
home of champions. Home of champions. We're not saying they're claiming us. Remember, they are contributing to our success also. All these facilities. Where would you get it? Where would you get a place whereby you can play tennis here, go to the gym here, do your recovery there? You don't get those places. Anywhere in this country. If not in Gauteng, you are getting them in Cape Town or in Potchefstroom also, just like one university. But Gauteng, it has a lot of those places. So we never say they're claiming us. We appreciate what they do, contributing to our success. And that's why we are happy when they call themselves a home of champions. Because at the end of the day, where do we reside? When they say, where's your home? Where
your address?
Where's your address? I give them the Gauteng address. Because that's where you're gonna get me. If you send it to Limpopo, you're not gonna get me. You know what I mean? But we are proudly Limpopians. We are proud to be from that side.
If you are looking for trophies, come here.
Come here. Come stay here. Stay here. You'll win here. Logistically, KG, a tour. Going on a Grand Slam tour, what does it look like for KG? How do you have to prepare from a logistic point of view, getting your equipment through, and then making sure that you're settled in a hotel, accessibility to getting to a training facility, going to matches, recovery, all sorts of things.
Man, I feel like I am my own You know, when it comes to tennis stuff, I am my
Logistics.
own manager.
Logistics
everything. Yeah, traveling,
Travel agents.
entries, all those things. I take care of visa. You know, I make sure that I'm the one who does it to make sure that I talk to tournaments. Firstly, I need to enter the tournament. I need to make sure I don't miss the closing date. So I need to enter within, the correct
window, whatever.
And talk to tournament directors, get all the relevant information. If I need a visa, they need to send me the documentations that I need. But I'm the one who still need to make like appointments. But with my agency, because they know people in government, they can always call sports and reg and be like, KG's visa, and then through those, maybe it can be processed quicker. Looking at when I need to go. But I'm the one who takes care of that. Making, now my agency now, they're transporting me to the airport now. Because one time I used to leave my car at the airport and
you rack up a bill.
No, not even that. Not even that, because it was through a valet, parking. But they stole a catalytic converter in my car.
Really?
So it was ripped off and then it was welded over until I was driving, and I'm like, the engine light, that's how it happened. So now, since I have a sponsored car, they took it upon themselves to make sure that
you drive you
then the car goes back.
So they drive me to the airport and then they keep the car. Shout out to Mahindra, making my life easier there.
Thank you, Mahindra.
with the car. But I don't know if you've seen me coming back home, the amount of luggage I have.
It's a lot.
Because my chair, it's made out of aluminium, so it's quite fragile,
Yes.
So I need to package it. So so I normally put it in this bicycle bag. Have you seen how a bike bag is? But now it's the wheelchair that's in it. How big it is. So I need to make sure that every time I travel, whether I'm connecting, I have to collect my bags. It's always that. There's always a big suitcase. It's always a backpack with all the documents, so that when you get to the airport and they're like, green passport, you're like, no.
It's in luggage.
All the papers. You know how troubling that green passport is when you travel. But I do all those things. I make sure that also I book accommodations in advance, make sure that there's wherever I'm going, make sure that currency is in the card, it's ready. Because you don't want to go there and start spending some rands. It's
expensive.
Yes. That's when you realize that the sport, the money goes, but it's not coming in.
And now the cities that you are choosing, you choose
Paris.
Paris, and when you go to London, you're
London.
even like,
You're not choosing any city in the world. You're choosing the big ones.
That is why it's even so bad to arrive like 3 days before, because you're like,
I need to survive for 3 days before the tournament starts.
3 days of lunch and dinners. That's too expensive. Sometimes like, I'll just arrive the day before, it's fine.
And you can't help yourself but to convert.
No, but now what I'm doing is obviously with our banking system, now you can get a global card, put a different currency in it. So I just choose whatever currency that I really want to use. So I chose a US dollar. So whatever I do, I just know dollars. US dollar and a pound. That's why I'm going to feel it there. But with the euro, it's almost like the same. Other countries, US dollar is quite good. So that's what I do. You need to make sure that there's enough money and also extra money
Just
in case you get delayed at the airport or you miss your flight. You have to supplement.
Book another one.
You see. So I need to prepare for all those things. But most importantly, I think being able to communicate with tournament directors on the other side, that's what makes it much more easier.
Does it make your success even sweeter, knowing what you go through with the planning? Surely, because you like you said, I'm saying you're your own manager. You're doing all your own logistics, and then you do well in the tournament. Surely it must feel, all the hard work that I put in for myself, and it's resulted to this.
The thing is, you don't even think about it because you just think it's part of what you need to do.
Yeah.
You don't even think about it until you are talking about it now, and I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
that's all I have to do, and I
yeah.
still have to compete.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't really think about it like that. I just know that prior to the tournament, I need to make sure that the logistics are out of the way, because I don't want to be thinking I need to wake up, go training, and then, I need to book a flight.
Yeah.
You know, so all those things, create time, do them, get out of the way, so that I can also, be able to have a
Focus,
good training time. But I mean, I'm sure when I write a book one day, I'll be like, hey, so I was this and this and this and that. But for now, it's just part of the job.
Will you though? Would you consider writing one?
I don't know.
The life and times.
I don't know, because I feel like, I'm here, I'm telling my story. I feel like if someone wants to know, if they go to the internet,
It's there.
the story is right there.
Yeah.
So packaging it, I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Maybe let me win that singles.
I can.
Maybe we can talk about it,
Yeah.
because, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I feel like there's certain things I don't talk about them a lot. Maybe that will be worth that book or documentary.
Can I quickly ask, your Multi-Sports Development Foundation?
Yes.
I see there's a smile straight away when that's been mentioned. How important was that for you? You keep saying you've broken a lot of barriers and you want to create a path for others to come through. How important has that been to you?
Yeah, it's also another story that the foundation is there, even though it was never launched or anything, because I'm trying to do things differently.
Yes.
At the same time, I'm like, I don't want to be just any foundation, because I can see how other foundations for athletes works.
Yes.
Already, it almost looks like it's an accomplished thing. Already, they are donating this, donating that.
Yes.
For me, I don't think I want to do it like that, and I think that's why it's taking forever to pick up, because I feel like I want to do something so tangible, something so close to my heart, but something that's so close to my story, So, and I think that's what I'm going to launch.
Yeah.
So obviously now the process is, I want to build a tennis court at one of the schools in Limpopo province. It's a school for people with disabilities. So we're in the process of building a tennis court, a multi-purpose court. It will have netball and, basketball, because the school, when coming to facilities, they just seems like where I started.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to do, because I want to be like when I launch and be like, this is my vision.
Yeah.
This is how I want to go out and pay it back or make a difference, in the world with something so tangible, something that's, I don't know how to put it, but the tennis court is there. Kids are going to play anyway, and that's why you're like, I'm going to put more focus on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to use it as a base to make sure that the programs are sustainable.
Yeah.
I mean, to put pressure on myself and hoping that one can get a talent out of it, because the school is in the rural areas, to be honest. So that's what I want to do. That's how I want to launch it. And I'm just excited that finally, after we spoke to some of our sponsors, trying to get them to donate, we finally got to a point whereby we have the funds to be able to build a court, and then that's how we're gonna just like officially launch the foundation, and hope to attract more funding. But most importantly, I don't want that thing of the government erecting facilities all over, but at the end of the day, they're being
no one's using them,
and then they go to waste. So this, I just want it to be one more facility that we know is going to not only benefit the kids at school, but also maybe the community. Because also at the end of the day, a sports like tennis, we also want to attract all those other kids in the community to encourage them to play a sport like tennis.
What's in store for Kgothatso Montjane in 2025?
Well, geez, I don't know. I don't even know how did I make it here, because I've just been feeling like, hey, I'm just laying low this year, you know, guys. Let me be.
KG and laying low.
Yeah,
It's
I've
not
just
in
been,
one
no, I've
sentence.
just been like, guys, let me be, let me lay low. I don't want to do all these things, you know. Let me take this time to adapt to my new normal. But you know what? I'm still playing tennis. I don't know if you followed. I went to Australia. I felt sick. Couldn't even compete fully in a tournament. But I'm back on a full schedule.
Yep.
I just came back from the US a month ago, and I went to play some ITF tournament. Lost in the semis. You know, tennis is looking good. Happy with how I performed. So I'm just back home now, getting ready for the clay season. So I'm here until mid-May. So we're gonna go to Europe, play in Spain, doing Madrid and Barcelona, and then I'm gonna do Roland Garros. Then I'll just be back for a couple of weeks to prepare for Wimbledon. So my schedule is
quite
actually it's back to normal. I am back on a full schedule, but I'm trying to create more training time in between, because I feel like since last year August, with what I've been through, I slept quite a lot. So physically, I need more. I need more time to. But at the same time, I'm pushing myself to go out to compete, to see where that is.
If you need Abo plus 2 in your travels, we wanna go to we wanna go to Wimbledon. We wanna go to
can't even afford 2 rooms.
We'll sleep on the floor. Can't
even afford 2 rooms.
Is your passport ready, Chief?
My passport is ready.
Always ready.
Good
to go.
As long as you're paying your visa and your flight.
Maybe one day this podcast will be big enough.
Paying your accommodation.
We'll be fine.
I can do with the support and the flag, you know. So
Perfect. Nance, you good? You covered?
No.
KG, thank you so much for your time. I mean, like I said in the beginning, you've told your story so many times, but it's always nice to hear it and feel it at such a close proximity. Sometimes you watch and listen on the TV, on the radio, and watch on the TV when you speak, but I think this is a lot more personal for us. We get to understand how some of the challenges and some of the triumphs that you've had over the course of your career. We wish you so much more success, especially in this season as you adapt going back into a full schedule. We are praying, and we will be there when that singles Grand Slam comes.
Yeah, when it happens, I'm not even flying back home.
Where are you going to? What's the first destination?
I'm going to be selfish.
And go where?
Depends on where it happens. If it happens in Paris, I will stay there by the Eiffel Tower.
What's KG's?
If it happens in London, I will go celebrate by Big Ben there.
What is KG's favorite destination?
Oh, no ways.
Or dream destination?
No, like
Mzansi. Nothing better than
the food, the people, the weather.
Yeah.
Guys,
can't beat it.
I see them on social media. Oh, I'm going to Dubai. I'm just like,
no. No.
Yo, I don't know. I'm just like, maybe I got to travel while I wasn't, into it, and then I'm like, nah. Travel the world, but there's no better place than this one.
All right.
And those who travel locally, they keep exposing how beautiful South Africa is. And I'm telling you, you travel, the first thing you miss is the food. I always wish I could just go to London and Australia, I can eat Nando's every day, and then I'm perfect. Even people, other players are like, why are you always eating Nando's? I'm like, you won't understand. It's from South Africa.
Yes.
Because that's the only taste I could handle, to be honest. Yeah. But there's no better place than South Africa. Yeah. I'm not saying people shouldn't travel.
Yep.
It's good to explore.
Yeah.
But for me, this is my favorite destination.
Yeah.
Any day, take me to New York. I want to see myself here.
Yeah. Okay. So let's let's rearrange that statement before.
Okay.
When you win that first singles Grand Slam, we're celebrating right here.
Bona, if I win, No, when I win that singles Grand Slam,
Yes.
I think I'm going to be selfish.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I know what's going to happen now that KG won, and now everyone wants to come to the airport.
Yes.
And I'm like, I've been winning. I've been winning
And
things.
there's no
And
one
people
there.
haven't been coming to the airport. So right now, when they wait for me to come to the airport,
Keep
I'm
waiting.
like, no, man.
You must
I'm
wait
going on
long.
a holiday.
Wait long. Must wait long. Yeah.
But we'll see. It's always a good thing to celebrate with the people at home. I really wish it happens because I think that's just like,
Cherry on top.
the end to my career. That's when I'm just
Can't
like,
be. It
I'm
can't
just
be.
like,
It can't be.
I'm dropping the mic.
It can't be.
Once
No.
Once I win a singles Grand Slam, see me my celebration on court. I'll just drop the racket. I'm just gonna drop the racket and be like, I'm
That's
out.
it.
It's been real.
Yeah. KG,
So,
thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Everybody, KG Montjane,
Thanks for having me.
fantastic.
Another one from Limpopo's finest.
Yes, another
A chapter.
Another chapter from Limpopo's finest. Thank you so much, KG. As always, please like, subscribe, comment on the channel and especially on this video. Who would you like to see next on this red couch? From all of us here, from the All Rounders SA podcast. We'll catch you next time.